Getting injured on chest day, here's my top 5 ways on how to avoid it. Hi, I'm Dr. Joe DeMarco, chiropractor and owner of OcraMed Health, and we're back in the gym today to go over how to avoid chest injuries. Now, I've said a million times on other videos that the number one thing that interferes or that delays our progress isn't that we have the wrong workout routine or we're not eating right or we're not doing the right lifts. The number one thing that interferes with our progress in getting fit and our progress in the gym is injuries. People get injured all the time. And every time you get injured and you're out of the gym for 2 or 3 weeks, it sets you back 2 or 3 months. So we want to avoid injuries. So a lot of the stuff we're going to go over, I know some of the younger people out there are just going to disregard, they're just going to go right, do their thing, they don't have to worry about injuries. You're 18, 19 years old or whatever. But let me tell you something. Get into your 30s, get into your 40s, get to 54, and I'm telling you right now, you gotta work some preventative ways to avoid injuries. So I'm gonna go over with you today my top 5 when it comes to chest workouts, because chest workouts is one of the most common workouts of the week where people get injured, shoulder injuries, chest injuries. And if you just invest 5 or 10 minutes into your workout, you're gonna avoid a lot of problems. So here we go, 5 top ways that we're going to avoid chest injuries on chest day. All right, so number 1, blood flow. I can't stress that enough. You do not want to start bench pressing with cold muscle, cold fascia. You're just going to set yourself up for an injury. So blood flow is so important, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this video today, because I happen to come across one video leading into another. Sometimes you're on YouTube and one video leads into another, and I happen to be watching a couple videos on people demonstrating how to warm up before they bench press, and no one was talking blood flow. Everyone was just grabbing broomsticks and saying, well, here's what you got to do. You have to dislocate back and forth, and you do this with the broomstick. And I'm sitting there going, I'm 54. I'm dislocating with a broomstick with cold muscles. I'm done in like 3 seconds. I'm injured. So, no, we don't want to start with a broomstick and doing dislocates over our head. That's stupid. What we want to do is we want to get blood flow first into the tissue. That's what we need to do. Now, when I talk about blood flow, I'm not saying that right before we work out, we want to do this deep fascia release work and try to break up knots in the chest and the traps. No, this isn't the time to do deep fascia release work. That's for another time during the day or for the next day. It would actually, doing deep fascia release work right before you bench press or do any type of exercise is just going to actually kind of ruin your workout, basically. What we want to do is just get some blood flowing before we do anything else to prevent injury here. Now, what's the best tool that we could use when we're sitting here and we're about to do some bench and we want to get some blood flow? It's right here. Take your index finger and your middle finger, the knuckles right there, and that's our fascia release tool. Now, if you happen to carry, if you have a Tai Chi ball, I always carry mine in the gym bag. A lot of times I'll take out my Tai Chi ball and use that. But, for simplicity's sake, we don't need a Tai Chi ball. We're going to use this today, these 2 knuckles. So, first technique, we're just going to real quick go over the muscles that are being used. So we're going to just rub through the pec area, rub over the delt area, up and down, side to side, rubbing over the bicep. I'm just getting those 2 knuckles in on the bicep. I'm coming up onto the tricep, over the forearm. And then, of course, as everyone's aware, when you work in chest, of course, your back muscles are involved. So I'm going to lift the arm up. I'm going to get right on my lat and kind of just dig around just for a few seconds there. Then I'm going to come up on the side of my neck into my upper trapezius, get behind on the occiput, down the neck, and just literally for a minute, each side, chest, shoulders, bicep, tricep, lat, neck, traps, just get in and just real quick. I mean, we're talking 60 seconds, not much. And if you do it, and just what I just did, immediately you can feel blood flow into the tissue. And if your muscles work cold, you immediately have blood flow in the tissue. Now we're going to come back and spend another 60 seconds just doing some quick active motion. So what I'll do is on the chest, for example, I will take those 2 knuckles and I'll pull the chest muscles towards the pec, towards the sternum. And as I do that, I'm just going to actively kind of get some motion back. I'm going to get the elbow back. I'm going to move it down. I'm going to press in and towards the sternum again, a couple times this way. And I'll do that just in a few locations, just holding some tissue and pulling towards the sternum, and real light just to get some active type of motion through fascia release type of work in there. Then I'll come over to the shoulder and I'll just be holding some pressure in there, and I'll just do some internal, external rotation as I just kind of dig in a little bit into the shoulder area. Then I'm going to bring my arm up. I'm going to take my 2 knuckles there. I'm going to pull on my bicep. I'm going to pull towards my shoulder, and then I'm going to extend the arm. So I'm going to press down towards the shoulder and extend the arm a couple times, 2, 3, 4 times. Tricep, I'm going to get in with those 2 knuckles. I'm going to have my arm bent. I'm going to put pressure up and then pull towards my body again. And then, I have my arm straight. I'm going to put the knuckles in, pull towards my body, and then I'm going to bend the elbow on this one. So sorry for the mistake. I'm going to push in and towards the body, and again, some release work right in there. So in towards the body, bend the elbow there. Here, I'm going to get in on the lat. I'm going to hold pressure in and then down, and I'm going to just do some pressing type of motion. So I'm trapping the lat in and down as I press up. Get in on the trap. I'm going to put pressure straight down, and I'm going to just bend forward, chin down, and to the opposite side. Pressure down, chin down, and I'll just drag those knuckles down my neck as I bend and look the opposite direction, dragging them down and go in the opposite direction. And then finally, I might just get right at the base of my occiput, kind of dig around with those 2 knuckles on each side, and I'll get under my rib cage and do the same exact thing, dig around. I'm talking as I'm doing this, so it sounds like it's probably taking a lot longer than it would. I literally will spend a couple minutes on all that blood flow warm up. Get the blood flowing. Number 1 way you're going to prevent injuries on chest day. All right, so next is 2 and 3. We can go over them together, stretches and warm-up sets. And the reason they're together is because we're basically doing our light stretching between our warm-up sets. So both of those are so important after we get the blood flow going. So I want to do some warm-up sets. I can't stand it when people go in, they do 1 warm-up set with the bar, and all of a sudden they start putting the plates on. It's just a surefire way for an injury. As a general rule, I do about 4 to 5 warm-up sets before I get to my working sets. Now, when I come into the gym, I know what I'm doing. Say I know I'm going to be doing 5 sets of 5 that day, or 5 sets of 8, or 3 sets of 8. The warm-up sets don't count. I don't count them as my working sets. And so I'll be doing the warm-up sets with the stretches in between until I get to the working sets, say 5 sets of 5. At that point, I'm 100% ready, 100% intensity, and I'm not stretching and doing any of this stuff anymore. I'm just working and concentrating on those sets, and I'm going to give it 110%. Now, I'm not going to waste strength on these warm-up sets. I'm not doing high reps on these warm-up sets where I'm going to fatigue out. All I'm doing is just kind of gradually increasing the weight on each warm-up set, and I'm just doing 4, 5, 6 reps, nice and easy, just to feel the increase in weight, continue to get blood flow, and I'm working my way up to my working weight. I'm not fatiguing out. I'm not taking these warm-up sets and actually getting tired as I do them. That's not the point. So we do the warm-up set, and then we do some stretches. So, for example, I may start off with just the bar, do some repetitions, nice and easy, and then I'm going to come off, and first thing I usually do is stretch out my forearms and my wrists. I'm just going to grab the wrist back like this, and I hold it for a few seconds in this manner. Then I'll come up this way, and I'll hold the wrist back this way, and then I'll turn it over, and nice and easy, I'll stretch the thumb out, and I'll do that 2 or 3 times on this side, and then of course on the other side, I go back, I'll do another warm-up set. I'll add a little bit of weight this time. I'll do another warm-up set, just a few repetitions. I'll come off. Next, I'm stretching up, and I'm going to stretch up towards the ceiling. I'll stretch off to the side, hold that for a few seconds, and I'm going to go to the other side for a few seconds. And then what I'll do is I'll actually turn my torso as I'm pressing up towards the ceiling. I'll get a little turn this way for a few seconds, and then I'll come this way. I'll press up towards the ceiling in this direction, and I'll come back to another warm-up set with a little extra weight on this next warm-up set. So I'm trying to just slowly increase the weight, start doing a little light stretching in between these sets. That's all I'm trying to do is just get warmed up, get ready to go. Another warm-up set takes place. Now I'm going to sit back here. I'm going to grab the bar, and I'll just sit in this position, maybe 10 or 15 seconds, nice and easy, stretching out the chest, the shoulders, the biceps, and I'll hold this position. I'll give it a second, and maybe I'll go up a second or third time. Again, stretching out like that. Ready for another warm-up set, another light set. Get done with that. I'll come next, and I go through this progression pretty much the same way every time. I'll grab now the bench or the bar, and I'll actually open up the pec this way. So I'm stretching again, and I'll look in the opposite direction, and I'll hold this position for a few seconds, and I'll do it 2 or 3 times on this side, 2 or 3 times on that side. Once again, another warm-up set. Then I'll come off, and I'll do a little for the back. I'll actually put my hands on the bench, and I'll support myself like this, and I'll let my hips fall down, and I'll arch the back nice and easy, and I'll stretch up, and I'll look right up at the ceiling and come into a nice stretch position on the back, and then I'll come up and raise my hips up and round my back and get a stretch this way, and then sink back in to that position. So we're just kind of loosening up the back, which is obviously playing a part during our chest workout, and then I'll come back and we'll hit another warm-up set. So on some days, I may get warmed up in 4 or 5 warm-up sets with those stretches. Sometimes I might need to do an extra warm-up set if I'm feeling, particularly stiff that day, or I just don't feel quite right. I play it by ear, but generally, warm-up sets could be anywhere from 4 or 5 or even 6 warm-up sets if I need to. And sometimes I'll repeat some of those stretches, but generally I use it in that order. I do those stretches in that order, real light, just trying to get ready to go. So by the time I'm done with the warm-up sets, all those stretches in between, I'm ready, final weight. I'm going to start my chest workout. Okay, tip number 4 on how to avoid injuries on chest day, accommodation sets. So what's an accommodation set? Okay, so I just got done bench pressing. I'm all warmed up. We know that. We went through all that stuff. We went through the blood flow and the stretches and the warm-up sets. So it's not that I'm not warmed up, but I'm just going from bench press to now I want to do some incline dumbbells. It's a different exercise, a little bit different, muscle fibers are going to be getting kicked in. So am I not warmed up? No, I'm warmed up, but I am going to do one set before my working sets that I don't count. It's my accommodation set, just to kind of get the body ready to go heavy again now on, say, for example, incline dumbbells. So I bench pressed. Now I'm coming over here to do 3 sets of 8 dumbbells. I don't want to really go to like my heaviest weight right away. I was just doing flat bench press, and now I'm on incline dumbbells. So it's a different exercise. So I do one accommodation set. I'll just take an intermediate weight. I'll just kick it back, and we'll just get a lot of times I'll do 5, 6, 7 reps. Make sure I feel good. Yep, feel great. Everything feels good. Got used to the angle of the bench, and now I'm ready to go to my heavy sets. So they're called accommodation sets. You just do one, and I use that between each exercise during my chest workout. So I bench press, I come over to incline dumbbell, I do one light accommodation set, like I said, 4, 5, 6 reps just to get the feel of the new exercise. And then I'll do my heavy sets on my incline dumbbells. Say from incline dumbbells, I decide to go over to a decline bench. Same thing, I'll do one accommodation set, just an intermediate weight, feel out the exercise. Then I'll do my working sets. And then, like I said, next exercise, one accommodation. So I always throw in those accommodation sets. And I feel that those accommodation sets are so important when it comes to avoiding injury. I feel that even though you're warmed up, changing angles and changing weights and changing from dumbbells to barbells, you're still at risk of getting injured. Take the 2 seconds out to do the one accommodation set and prevent an injury. You won't regret it. Okay, and finally, I want to just go over a real safe, effective way to get in and out of your dumbbell pressing motions. Now, a common way that I see people get injured, their shoulders, their pec, is when they start off on like heavy dumbbell work. When they go back with the dumbbells, they basically take the dumbbells and it crushes back on their shoulders and pecs. And I've seen people literally tear their pecs just getting into the starting position. So we want to try to avoid heavy dumbbells where we lie back with them and they immediately are crushing and pulling our shoulders and chest back. So what I like to do is start my dumbbell motions in a straight arm position, just like I'd be starting a bench press. And so the technique I use is very simple. It's easy to do. You can usually use, I can usually go up to some of my heaviest sets and still be able to use this technique. Once you get good at it and you get used to it, unless you're going like really, really heavy and you're going for a dumbbell single or a dumbbell double, which I don't even know why you'd want to be doing that, but for dumbbell presses. But generally, if I'm using a weight that I can get, 5 reps, 6 reps, I can always usually use this technique. And it's very simple once you learn it. I'm just going to sit here. Dumbbells are resting on my distal part of my quad right above the knee. I'm going to be sitting up straight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll back and I'm going to let my knees follow the dumbbell as I come back. So it's going to look just like that. I'm going to roll back on the bench and I'm going to try to keep the arms straight as I roll back. So I easily get the dumbbells up. When I'm done with my set, I just turn them back, I bring the knees back, and I roll right back. I'm going to show you again. I'm just going to roll back and let the knees follow the dumbbells all the way to the starting position. Like that. I'm going to do my set. When I'm done, I turn the dumbbells back, I come back with the knees, and I roll back. Very, very simple technique. It's so easy to do. It's so safe. You're starting with the dumbbells stretched out in front like that, not crushed in like that. Learn that technique. Start with some lighter weight, but once you get it, you'll notice you can immediately start going heavier and heavier, and that technique you can use on even your heaviest of dumbbell presses. Once you know how to do it, it's so simple, and it's just such a great way to just avoid injury. All right, there you have it, my 5 tips on how to avoid injury on chest day. Give it a try. All right. Exercise programs, you're looking for mobility programs, you're looking for ebooks, you want to visit my website, www.OcraMedHealth.com. Also on our website, come out and check out our SRI, our shock release instrument. It's new, it's awesome. Take a look at it on our website. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to my channel, OcraMed Health on YouTube. For questions about exercises or injuries, just leave a comment in the comments section below. I always get back to everyone who writes in. And don't forget, OcraMed Health is here to keep you fit forever.